गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रयवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम।
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering my most humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan. Loving Sai Ram to one and all. A warm welcome to the 13th episode of Satsangatve Nissangatvam. I, Sai Priya KV from Karnataka, a current participant of NLP batch 2022. This evening, we have amongst us an eminent speaker who practices the 5 Ds as laid on by Swami. May we now be led into his journey through this AV.
Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba says, everything in this world is ephemeral. The only unchanging aspect in our life is the love of God. It is the truth and is eternal. There are 5 requisites that Swami gives us as virtues to be cultivated before we can develop love for God. These are the 5 Ds: dedication, devotion, discipline, discrimination, and determination. The journey of this evening speaker is offering these 5 Ds through his service to the nation and is blissful in the love of God. Ever in realization of Sai, Sri Jasthi Krishna Kishoer, CA, IRS. Having held the position as the Principal Commissioner of Income Tax at New Delhi earlier, he currently is the Principal Director of Income Tax Investigation in Orissa. Continuing the glowing torch from his father, late Sri Justice J. Ishwar Prasad to serve, Sri Krishna Kishoer has dedicated his life towards our Bharat and joined the Indian Revenue Service in the year 1990. Sri Krishna Kishoer is an alumnus of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Whitefield, holding a distinction in Bachelor's of Commerce. He completed his chartered accountancy in the year 1987. We offer our service to God in so many ways. All these acts of service are expressions of gratitude to God. Devotion is an expression of gratitude to God. Sri Krishna Kishore's achievements and recognitions conferred upon him, acknowledging his devotion and discipline, are offered towards the progress of the nation. He was awarded the Finance Minister's Gold Medal by Dr. Manmohan Singh, the then Honorable Union Minister for Finance, for Best All-Round Performance in the 45th batch of the Indian Revenue Service. He has received the National Award, Ministry of Finance Certificate of Merit and Appreciation from Central Board of Direct Taxes for his excellence in assessments in 2011 and again in the year 2014 for his excellence in infrastructure development. As Private Secretary to the Union Minister of Civil Aviation, he was primarily responsible for the revival of SpiceJet Airlines. He has played a proactive role in the development of airports in Andhra Pradesh and other parts of the country. As Swami says, Nashreyo Niyamam Vina. There can be no welfare without discipline or regulation. Sri Krishna Kishoer has an outstanding ranking throughout his career and a track record of impeccable integrity both in the income tax department as well as on deputations to other organizations. He has received high appreciation and has been described as an asset to the government and an officer of absolute integrity by the superior authorities. As CEO of Andhra Pradesh Economic Development Board during the years 2015 to 2019, Sri Krishna Kishoer succeeded in generating investments into the state of Andhra Pradesh. The Andhra Pradesh Economic Development Board secured the prestigious Koch National Gold Award for the Best Investment Promotion and Project Facilitation Agency in India. Sri Krishna Kishoer played an important role in Andhra Pradesh securing the #1 position in India in the Ease of Doing Business rankings of the World Bank. Bhagwan says that discrimination is not limited to worldly objects only. We need to discriminate even in our sight or vision, in our words, in our listening, in our looks, in our thoughts, and in our actions. Only then the word discrimination will acquire significance. Sri Krishna Kishore's inquiry and insight into his field of work has led him to skillfully author numerous articles and to publish books on income tax provisions pertaining to charitable and religious organizations, well appreciated by many, including the eminent jurist late Sri Nani A. Phalkiwala. Swami on the fifth and final D, that is determination, says, whatever strikes to you as right, whatever you consider as sacred, whatever you believe is truth, you must never leave that and you must make every effort to achieve that someday. Determination means to have a chalinchani manasu, unwavering mind, and brahminchani drishti, a vision free from delusion. Sri Krishna Kishore's determination to serve our Lord and this holy land has driven him to successfully hold positions of leadership on various occasions. His constant thirst to be on the learning path and be a student has achieved him numerous certifications from some of the prestigious institutions like IIM Bangalore and IBFD, the International Bureau of Fiscal Documentation, Amsterdam. Not merely expanding his knowledge in the subject, his official visits also expands his presence and engagements representing our country in the US, most of the European countries, Central and East Asia, West Africa and to the Middle East. Through his dedication, devotion, discipline, discrimination and determination, ever in realization of Sai, Sri J. Krishna Kishoer, CA, IRS.
Sai Ram sir, we welcome you to today's Satsang and we are eagerly waiting for your talk. Over to you, please, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, my humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Lord Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba Varu, Sri Gopi Pidatla Garu, and respected organizers of the Satsang of Sri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation, titled Satsangatve, Nissangatvam. Dear brothers and sisters, Sai Ram to all of you. Recently, Mr. Nimish Pandya, the respected All India President of Sri Sathya Sai organizations, has visited Odisha. One of the things he was saying is we need to document and learn about the experiences of devotees across the world post Swami's Mahasamadhi. In fact, my feeling is we are experiencing His divine grace across the creation all the time, as actively as it was when He was in physical form before us. In fact, on the 8th of this month, my mother, Mrs. Chamanti, she came to Bhubaneswar along with my brother Prasad, my sister-in-law, and my auntie. My mother is 89 years running. At home, she finds it very difficult to walk. And she walks barely with a walker. She wanted to come here primarily. She wanted to visit Sai Janani and also Lord Jagannath Temple at Puri. Then I remembered, see, Swami has given a beautiful solution to all of us. He said, whenever you want to ask anything of me, he said, you simply write a letter to me, put it in front of my photo. Afterwards, you can tear it and throw it. Of course, I didn't throw it or not tear it, but I did write a letter to Swami. Swami, my mother is 89 years old. She's coming. You have to take care and ensure that she has a good visit. Well, she landed. She came in a wheelchair. She landed in Bhubaneswar. The very first program was Sri Sathya Sai Trust member, Mr. Antaryami Patnaik, wanted mother to visit Sai Janani and so that they could meet her there. So we went. It was a Thursday. So we went. I was wondering whether she'll be able to walk up the steps. Believe me, she walked up almost about 20-30 steps and took part in the bhajan. That was the beginning of the program. Then came down. Suddenly, a lot of energy came into her. I couldn't believe it that she was walking on her own. Then the next day morning, 9th morning, we wanted to go to Lingaraj Mandir. It's a very beautiful stone-cut temple in Bhubaneswar. And it was extremely hot in the morning. And I was wondering, and a lot of walking is required there. They don't allow wheelchairs. I was wondering how mother will make it. Moment she got into the car, believe me, I'm not exaggerating, suddenly it became very cool, pleasant, very, very cool. And she not only had a beautiful darshan of Lord Harihara in Lingaraj Mandir, she walked all around the huge temple campus without any effort. Then we came back. And it's raining heavily in Odisha nowadays. In the afternoons particularly, it was raining. Then we went to Puri. Once we reached Puri, the rain stopped. And we had again darshan of Lord Jagannath. It's a huge temple complex, a marvelous complex in Puri. And she was there almost, I'm not exaggerating, she could walk for almost 45 minutes all around the temple. Beautiful darshan we had, came back. Next day morning, that is on the 10th morning, she wanted to go to the beach, Puri beach. And again, it was extremely hot. The weather is, vagaries of the weather are such in Odisha nowadays. It was very hot. I was wondering how she can go. The moment she stepped out of her room, it became very cool, very pleasant. She spent more than 1.5 hours on the beach. She came back, and the moment she came back, it started raining again heavily. Then in the afternoon, yesterday afternoon, we wanted to go to Konark for this visiting the Konark temple. And again, it was raining literally. I mean, pouring. And when our car entered the temple premises, within 5 minutes, the rain stopped. And we could spend next 1.5 hours in the temple premises. She could walk all over and had wonderful, visit of the Konark temple premises. Came back, had a cup of coffee, got into the car. It's pouring rain again. Heavy rain again once she got back into the car. And today morning she left, and before leaving, Mr. Debraj Rath, he's a trustee of the Sri Sathya Sai Trust, former law secretary, was very kind enough. He came, he bought some prasad for her. She took it and went away back to Hyderabad. So why I am telling all this is, where from all this energy came to 89-year-old woman? Where from all this could happen? It is nothing but Swami's grace. It's a miracle. Every time, wherever she went, there was no rain. The moment she finished the activity, there was heavy rain. And person who couldn't walk at all, only with the walker, and she could walk everywhere. So much of walking she could do. See, this is nothing but miraculous blessings of Swami. This is happening not only, I just witnessed it today. It is not one occasion, 3 occasions I have seen this happening. The weather god completely, helping her to fulfill her, whatever she wanted to have darshan, she wanted to visit the beach, she wanted to visit the temple. She could do everything perfectly. And she landed, first event was Swami, going back again, the last event was Swami's event. See, this is how Swami is taking care of all of us. I'll give one more example. Yesterday, right now I'm heading the income tax search and seizure in whole of Odisha. This is a very important assignment. There are only 17 such posts in India. This is called Principal Director of Income Tax Investigation. How I came here itself is amazing. I never asked for this post. I was just suddenly, my chairman, Mr. Mahapatra, is one of the most honest officers in the department, one of the extremely honest and person of great reputation. He just posted me to head this investigation wing in his hometown, Odisha. Then I was surprised, because usually people ask for this kind of post, you don't get it just like that. But he gave it. Then I went to him. I was hesitating whether to move to Odisha or not at that point of time. I was in Delhi. Then he said, he calls me Jasthi. He said, Jasthi, you're one of our most honest, one of the best officers of this department. Odisha is my home state. I want you to head the investigation wing in Odisha. We are very proud of you as a department, that you are one of our officers. This is exactly the words he said. And moment he said that, believe me, whatever you saw in the video presentation a while before, whatever my chairman said, it is nothing but Swami's blessing. I am a big zero. The only one is Swami. That's it. It is his compassion, his kindness, which has brought about this honor. Now, an income tax search was going on just a couple of days back in Odisha. We found nothing in the first 2 days. And I was thinking, this is a big, very big group. And, it's a medium size, not a very big group, medium size group. And I thought the search was going to result in a failure. Then I just went to Swami's photo and I prayed, Swami, you please show us a way. Because we had certain information, we are unable to find the breakthrough we are looking for. Believe me, by evening, we got so much of information, and the person had ended up declaring 100 crore rupees as additional income based on a search. Just 5 minutes prayer before Swami, everything changed. See, this is the kind of miracles which all of us are experiencing. Only those who experience know the reality of these miracles. What was a total failure, what was looking like, suddenly in a matter of few hours turned out to be a huge success. How does this happen? It is Swami's blessings. Like this, we are finding so many of our devotees across the globe who are experiencing Swami's blessings in and out. I have the fortune I'll spend a few minutes talking about our family background, because there are a few important experiences of Swami which I wanted to share with all of you. Way back in 1942, around 1942, my father was around 8 years old. Then he was afflicted with something called infantile paralysis. That is, he could not walk. Suddenly he became a paralytic person. And he was confined to a wheelchair. He was the only son of my grandparents. My grandmother, Mrs. Sita Mahalakshmi, she was a leading lawyer, and also she was an independent MLC. She never joined any party. In those days, it was next to impossible to win any election without joining a party. But she won 3 elections. That showed her popularity among the people. And she and my grandfather used to be a district judge. And my father, once he was afflicted with this paralysis, she was extremely unhappy. And even before he was born, it was quite some time after the marriage he was born. And it's only when they went to different temples and finally they went to Varanasi and prayed to Lord Shiva there that my father was born. So they named him Ishvara Prasad. Then such a boy who was the only son became paralytic. And it was naturally there was a lot of gloom in the family. So one day my grandmother was sitting in her office reading certain books. My father also was sitting next to her in one of the chairs. Suddenly, a beautiful lady in a white dress entered the house unannounced. She came into the house, came to the office room, and immediately she looked at her and she said, Sita Mahalakshmi, Sita Mahalakshmi. She called out. This is the way exactly Swami used to call her later on, after when she came to the Sai fold. Then she told my grandmother, everyone thinks you're a very happy lady, but I know you're very unhappy because your son is afflicted with paralysis. But do not worry. You pray to Sai Baba. Everything will be all right and he'll be cured. She said this, and once suddenly this kind of, statement is made, it left my grandmother in a daze. Then she was just wondering, who is this lady? Why she's telling all this? Then she walked out of the house. Then suddenly my grandmother realized I should have at least offered her a cup of coffee. Then she came out to the main road to find her, but she couldn't find her. Within few moments, she disappeared. That night, before sleeping, my father insisted, my grandmother, why not we pray to Sai Baba? They hardly knew who Sai Baba was. They heard the name. But my grandmother was hesitant. By then, she has visited again all the temples, including Varanasi, to pray for his cure. Then she was somehow exhausted, fatigued mentally. She was hesitating, but my father insisted, yes, let us pray. Then both of them, they knelt down and then prayed. And my father was put back again on the wheelchair. Later on, he slept. In the middle of the night, my father woke up. Then he said, Mummy, I feel a strange current is passing through my legs. Please wake me up. Please hold my hand. I would like to stand up. She was shocked. He said, yes, I'm very particular. I have to get up. Then she slowly held his hand and he gradually walked and he switched on the light. For the first time in so many months, maybe it was about more than a year, she was in wheelchair. He could walk a few steps. Then he switched on the light. And at around 2 or 3 in the morning, they used to live in Gandhinagar in Madras. They walked for almost a few furlong or two in the middle of the night. And that was a big miracle which happened in our family. And next day, a large number of people turned up at the house to witness this miraculous event. That was the first introduction to Swami. Then, however, they hardly knew anything about Swami. It was 42, 43. Swami was not a person who was really known. He was hardly 16 years old. It was hard. In Madras, he was not a very well-known figure. But they vaguely heard his name. They vaguely heard of Shirdi Baba also. Then my grandmother said, let us go to Shirdi. Then they went to Shirdi. Once they went to Shirdi, they didn't know. In those days, there were no communication channels. There were no telephone, emails, etc. There was very few facilities available. However, a young boy came. He took them all around and ensured that they got good accommodation. He took them to darshan. They made sure they had very good darshan. And they left very happily from Shirdi. Now, the same thing happened to one of our brothers, Binay Kumar. Much later, Mr. Binay Kumar, you must be knowing, is a chartered accountant and very active in Sai organizations in Karnataka. Swami told him to go to Shirdi. This happened in sometime around 2000. And Swami did not tell him who will take care of him, where he has to stay. Swami did not even give him money. They landed, Swami took him in flight from Bangalore to Bombay. After landing, Swami said, you go to Shirdi, I'm going to Dharmakshetra. So poor guy, he went. Of course, that's a big story. I don't want to get into that story. But there's an analogy here. He went to Shirdi. There again, a young boy came. He took him around all over. He arranged accommodation for him. He ensured he had a good darshan, and suddenly disappeared. Same thing, what happened to my grandparents in 1940s happened around 2000 to Vinay Kumar. Very, very similar. I mean, these are not coincidences. These are, according to me, miracles. Now, a little bit, few years later down the line, around 1945, one day my grandmother was sleeping. In the night, she had a beautiful dream. She dreamt that she was walking on a huge mountain, a mountain which had a kind of golden halo. She felt that it was golden in color and extremely beautiful. Effulgence was coming from the mountain. When she reached the top, she found a young boy, a beautiful young boy with a big hair, sitting in a meditative posture. That was the vision she had. Fine. Then the next day morning, there was a case of one gentleman called Mr. Hanumantarao. He was a transport commissioner, Swami's devotee. And that particular case required certain documents were needed for arguing in the High Court. So my grandmother called him and said, since Mr. Hanumantarao's house was on the way to High Court, she said, I will stop by at your house and collect these particular documents. Please keep them ready. She was traveling, and my father also, the young boy, he wanted a ride. He also went in the car along with her to the High Court. They stopped at Mr. Hanumantarao's house. Then they found about 50-100 people in the house on the ground floor. Then my grandmother asked, why all of you have come? What is the reason? Then they said, there is a Baba who has come. He's upstairs. We are with Mr. Hanumantarao. We are waiting to see him. Then my grandmother said, okay, I'm in a hurry to go to the High Court. I will collect the file and go. So she started going up the staircase to see Mr. Hanumantarao. As she came near the staircase, suddenly she saw the same person she saw in the dream last night walking down the stairs. Exactly same. And she was totally stunned. She said, then first thing what Swami told her, this was the first words he uttered to her. He said, Sita Mahalakshmi, Ratri Kalalo Chusavu, Uppudu na దగ్గరికి వచ్చావు. What he meant was, you saw me in the dream last night and here you are before me. Chesko Pad Namaskar, have Pad Namaskar. So he gave Pad Namaskar to both my grandmother and my father. Then he threw something at both of them. My grandmother got some flowers, my father got some sweets. Then as you know, they got again busy with their profession, etc., etc. In the 1950s, Swami came to Hyderabad. He was staying in Mr. Burugala Ramakrishna Rao's house. He was governor of UP at that time. So his house, the first floor was vacant. When the Andhra state got divided from the composite Madras state, so my grandparents had to move to Hyderabad because the High Court was in Hyderabad. And that time, Mr. Ramakrishna Rao offered them to stay in their first floor as tenants. So they were staying in the first floor. Again, this is how Swami's entire, mission works. He never allows his devotees to go astray. He keeps pulling them to him. So Swami came to that house. Then my grandparents were in that house. They came and they were blessed with darshan again. Then Swami said, now by then 6-7 years passed. He said 6-7 years, so many years have passed. You have not come to me in the meantime. But that day when you came, I gave you flowers and I gave your son sweets. My grandmother surprised. She thought my father also got flowers. But then that is true. Then father said, yes, Swami gave me sweets. Then from there, I would say the love story with Swami has started. They became completely devoted to Swami. And Swami had been very kind, very compassionate. I was born when they were still staying in Burgal Ramakrishna's house. In 1964, when I was about 21 days old, Swami came to Mr. Ramakrishna Rao's house Then my parents were holding me as a small child, baby, 21 years old infant. And Swami came near and Swami said to my grandmother, Sitama Lakshmi, me Manaudu Bangaram. He said, your son, grandson is a gold. This is what he uses for all of us. He has been kind. Most of us have been blessed. We have been called at times Bangaru, at times Pakodi. He called me Pakodi also. At Dunapotu also he called Buffalo. So we have all different beautiful terms he used. But that time he called Bangaru. Then he said, can I name him? They said, it's a big blessing, Swami, please name. Then he asked when he was born, etc. And he gave my name, Krishna Kishoer. Then I started my studies in Hyderabad only. I was initially a good student, but somehow after third class or so, I completely faltered. I changed the school and my entire studies went for a toss. I was doing very, very badly in my academics. And by the time when I came to 10th, I was in a hopeless condition. And you won't believe if I tell this. In 10th class, I had got just 49%. It was miserable marks I got. Third class, not first, not second, third class. Just barely managed to pass. I think I remember 38 or so was a pass mark, and I got about 40 or so in mathematics. That's how bad I was in studies. Then by then, my brothers and all already joined Vrindavan College, and my sister was already in Anantapur College with Swami's colleges. So naturally, I also wanted to join Swami's college. I went to Vrindavan. There, the venerable principal, Mr. Narendra, was there. The moment he saw me and saw my marks, he said, no thanks. There's no way I can give admission to a student like you. 49%, no chance. You can go. This is not, college is not meant for you. He said that. Then, like all good devotees, we take recourse to Swami. So straight away I booked my ticket, went out to Puttaparthi. This again, you know how Swami arranges. When he wants to do, he will do. That's it. So in those days, again, we had all those sitting in the first row was a big deal. You know, even towards end also, you have all the lottery, you have all kinds of, you know, it's not easy to get the first row. But when he wants you to get it, you will get it. So I got the first row. I sat right in the front. Swami straight came to me. He said, why are you sitting here? I said, Swami, I didn't get admission. He said, don't worry, you'll be given admission. You go. Then he gave blessings. When I went back to Mr. Narendra, he was waiting for me. He said, come, I'm ready to give you admission. Now here I want to tell something important, because this we should tell to our children also. A very important lesson I felt was in life. I wanted to become a doctor. My goal was to become a doctor and go and settle in USA. That's what I was wanting to do. Because I had seen some of my relatives who did very well, went abroad as doctors. Maybe I was inspired by them. So I told my principal, I would like to do medicine. Then he said, nothing doing, forget it. You will not get science. Your marks are so bad. I will give you commerce. That too, mathematics I will not give you. You please take history, economics, commerce, accounts. Now, this is the turning point in life, because you're totally changing the goal and ambition. But what I learned by then is whatever happens, happens for our good. Whatever Swami decides is definitely for our good. If Swami wants me to do commerce, commerce must be good for me. See, and in this field, I must try to come up well in my life. Simple. I made that decision then and there, and I happily transited from a goal of a science background to a commerce background. Happily accepted. And then, because you don't know where success lies for you in life. This, I feel many children get disappointed. They did not get medicine. They did not get engineering. Not to worry at all. In every walk of life, you can come up well in whichever field you choose. And sometimes the God gives you what you need, not what you want. And whatever God gives you would be the best in many, many ways, known and unknown. So I took it. Then again, the atmosphere in the college totally transformed me. In fact, transformation is one of the themes of this entire satsang, as I see. It totally transformed me. The duty, the discipline, the devotion, the atmosphere of happiness, joy, the entire, the self-confidence given by Swami, and the way the teachers took care of us, all this really inspired me. And I started studying hard. And for the first time, to my knowledge, the first time in my life I got first class was in PUC first year. It used to be called PUC, pre-university course. Second year also I got first class. Swami used to say that whoever does well in academics, whoever gets a first class, I will take them to Kashmir. He told number of times, he told this to all of us. And I was inspired by Swami's message, and I studied very hard, hoping to go to Kashmir. Okay. Then I got first class. Swami finally went to Kashmir. He took 18 people. I was not in those 18. He didn't take me. But then, like Shirdi Baba, Swami also, what he says, what he means has sometimes a different. His meanings have a lot of significance. What he meant was, if you study well, if you do well, your life will become like Kashmir. You will have a beautiful life ahead of you. In fact, that's what happened in my case. I really realized I didn't go to Kashmir, but rest of my life, it went very well. So I had a very good career throughout my subsequent years. So, but then again, later on in the first BCom, I got first class. Second BCom, for some reason, I didn't study well or whatever, I got second class. But Baba always told us to be very determined, to try till you win, get what you wanted to achieve in life. Determination. In fact, that is one of the values which was mentioned to us a little while back. I was very determined. I struggled hard again. I canceled my exam. Principal was saying, why do you want to cancel? You have to write 2 years at one time. I said, sir, I have faith in Swami. I will do very well. I'm not going to be a second class student. I will be a first class student. So I cancelled my second year. Second year, I wrote both. Third year, I wrote both second year exam and third year exam. And I got above 73 or some percentage. In those days, 70 plus was considered a very high mark in Bangalore University. So I passed out with a distinction from Swami's College. Then I wanted to do chartered accountancy, which I felt was the best thing at that point of time. So I asked Swami. Swami said, go ahead. He gave his blessings. I went and joined the CA. Again, in CA, I had, there used to be two groups, one intermediate group, one final group. In intermediate, we used to have again group 1, group 2. One of the groups had costing as a subject. And every time I used to fail in that subject. That is that subject which never got into my brain. So 3 times in a row, I failed in that subject. So 4th time, I was almost in a stage of giving up. I didn't know what to do. Next day morning was exam. I was reading and I was frustrated. I was not able to solve all that marginal costing and all those complicated stuff. I couldn't, master it. So I just slept off, thinking tomorrow morning also I'm going to fail. At around 11:30, 12, I woke up suddenly, and I have a habit of putting a small photo of Swami under my pillow whenever I sleep. There's a calendar, pocket-sized calendar. There was a calendar in that what it was written. There's a beautiful photo of Swami in like something like Bhagavad Gita in in that kind of pose. It was a beautiful photo. Below that, it was written, I am with you wherever you are, guarding you, guiding you, march on, have no fear, Baba. It was an electrifying moment for me. When I read that, suddenly I felt a massive jolt of electricity. I felt truly inspired. Then I got up, I opened costing book again, I started studying, and non-stop I studied till 7 o'clock. And 8:30 or so, I went to write the exam. And believe me, what I read in those 3-4 hours, those questions came. And I passed that exam. Then there was no turning back. I cleared CA quickly. normally you can do in maximum, earliest time you could do CA was 3 years. I could finish in 3.5 years. Just imagine a guy who got 49% in 10th class, went on to get distinction in BCom and also clear CA in a short time of 3.5 years. So this was again the transformation which Swami has brought it about in me. He made me a person full of determination, full of patience, full of, I would say, values such as hard work, etc. And a lot of self-confidence. Afterwards, I was wondering what next, because now CA, if I become CA now, I would rather go into practice, because CAs do very well nowadays. But in those days, it was not so rosy. So I was wondering what to do next. And also, as always, at back of my mind, Swami used to say, you have to serve the nation, you have to do a lot of good for the country, etc. So I always, there was in back of my mind, should I write the civil service exam? So it was but a decision had to be taken very quickly. There was no time to even go to Puttaparthi, because I suddenly realized that the day for applying for prelims exam, that was application was very near. So I had to quickly apply, whether to do or not. I was just wondering, and I'm not exaggerating. So this dilemma was going on for 1-2 hours in the morning with me. I just went to my father's office. There was a Sanatan Sardi book lying there on the table. I just opened the book. I turned a page, exact para. I'm not at all exaggerating. The para, in that para, Swami has said, my students, they may like to do chartered accountancy, etc. But instead of that, I would like them to get into IAS. He said, IAS, if you turn it, it becomes SAI, because you serve the country. So if you serve honestly, if you do a good, take care of the country in a good way, that itself is service to Swami. So I like my students to get into civil services. So it was an answer to me straight away. Imagine this, even now I experience, when I have a dilemma, if I open Swami's book, I get an answer many times. Many times it happens to all of us. In fact, today morning, I was discussing Ramayana and Valmiki with my auntie here in Bhubaneswar. And believe me, 2 separate speeches of Swami, he was talking of Valmiki only. I saw them. It was not, just a few hours later after she left, I was going through some books of Swami, exactly same thing. But he spoke so much about Valmiki and, how he was transformed from Ratnakara to Valmiki, how he, from a hunter, how he transformed himself to a great saint and a person who gave one of the greatest scriptures to mankind. So Swami is saying everyone can be transformed. One extreme, he became to another extreme. From a cruel hunter, he became a great saint, revered forever, for all times to come. See, that kind of transformation Swami brings about. So then I went ahead, I wrote the civil service exam. There again, lot of confidence I got by Swami's blessings, and I cleared the exam and reasonably good rank. Twice I wrote, both the times I got into IRS. I still had opportunity to write, but then I thought it is Swami's will, and I took Swami's blessings and then joined the service. And I was just trying to list out some of the topics which, some of the qualities which I felt are important for civil servants. In fact, the topic of today talks about in real Seva to the nation, the Sri Sathya Sai way. It's a very beautiful topic given to me. And some of the qualities which were inculcated to me as a student of Swami's College, I tried to follow these qualities throughout my career in the services, which stood me very strong, which helped me become successful. Some of them include, first and foremost, is honesty. In fact, it is not just physical honesty, intellectual honesty is equally important, because this is one of the most core values which every bureaucrat should have complete integrity, complete honesty, and total absence of any type of corruption. Honesty should be both physical and intellectual. Hard work. Hard work is another very important value. Swami always said, Kaste Fali. Without hard work, you will not achieve anything. Sincerity. Determination. This is a beautiful value already told to us. Dedication. Discipline. Discrimination between the right and the wrong. Duty is God. Duty. Swami always said, work is worship, duty is God. Then service to mankind in a selfless way. Swami always used to say, help ever, hurt never. Service to man is service to God. Manava Seve, Madhava Seve, Madhava Seva. Love all, serve all. And the eternal values of Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa, which all of us are aware, and the need to be away from the evil qualities of Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. This is also very important for every bureaucrat. Keeping these 5 good qualities and following them and eschewing them, keeping away from the 6 evil qualities are absolutely essential for every bureaucrat. Then a complete absence of ego, humility, being grounded, down to earth. This is another value Swami has taught us. Believe me, some of these values, I tried my best to follow them throughout and I ended up gaining. I'm not saying I'm being very candid about it. By following all this, I've not done any service. Rather, I gained a lot. I gained a lot of good name. I could achieve many things. This is the beauty of Swami. Swami always gives. There's nothing which we can give to Swami. If we just follow whatever he says, that's all we need to do. And we'll be the net gainers. Then broad-mindedness. Swami always said there's only one language, language of the heart. There's only one religion, the religion of love. There's only one caste. There's only one God, his omnipresence. See, this is exactly what our constitution says. Right to equality, right to freedom of religion and expression, etc. Then common sense. Common sense is another great value taught by Swami. In fact, I followed this throughout my career. In fact, common sense is one quality which helps us to make sound decisions in a short time, quick decision making and decisions which are very sound and important and which will achieve good results for the government. Compassion and kindness. Every activity which we do should be soaked in compassion and kindness. Even as in fact, in income tax, we have one of the things which always I tell to my people, especially where we end up doing certain regulatory functions like income tax searches or surveys and all these kind of actions. So I always tell them to follow the principle of being polite, at the same time being firm. This is a balance Swami has always said. I tell them that you be very strict, you collect the taxes, at the same time be kind and compassionate. Because I always tell them that taxpayers are like, as Kautilya said, they are like the golden goose. They are like, you cannot destroy that. You can collect the golden eggs, but you should not destroy the golden goose. Like Kautilya talked about the swan. He said, like the swan brings the milk, leaving the water. Like that, the taxpayer or like the honey, the bee which stings the flower, but takes the honey, but leaves the flower intact. That's the way we should be as tax gatherers. We should, while collecting our taxes and being strict and disciplined, at the same time should have compassion and kindness to the taxpayers so that they also survive, they become more prosperous, and in turn give more taxes to the country. This is one beautiful balancing act which Swami has taught me, and this has made my entire career successful. I've attained my targets. I've been in almost out of 30 and odd confidential records. I was on or performance reports almost in 25, 26. I was rated as an asset to the government by, I mean, normally this word is not used, but they've used the word, my superiors. But one of the reason is just following the simple principle of Swami. And among the public also, I enjoyed good confidence by following this principle of Swami, kindness and compassion, at the same time being firm and disciplined in our work. Then courtesy, good manners, politeness. Then sacrifice. As Swami says, Tyage Naikena Amrutatva Manasu. Okay, Swami says through sacrifice alone. In fact, Swami says na karmana, na pragya, na danena, Tyage Naike Amrutatva Manasu. It's only sacrifice, not wealth, progeny, and action that confers immortality. So if you have to be immortal, you have to follow the principles of sacrifice. A lot of sacrifice is required in government service. We have to sacrifice our personal time or family time, and so many other sacrifices are involved. A lot of hard work is involved. But I've been fortunate. My wife has been extremely understanding, and I would say, if integrity is my life breath, it's more there to her. From day one, she always maintained very high standards of integrity, and bore with me because I had very, very busy schedules throughout in many positions. So it entailed a lot of working in out of the office hours. In fact, there were times when I used to work, I'm not exaggerating, sleep only for 3 hours. And particularly when I was working on deputation, which in some of the important deputations, on not all occasions, some occasions. But I used to work 14 hours, 15 hours. So there was a lot of sacrifice involved. Sacrifice not of me, by my family. They sacrificed because they allowed me to work in the office. So I'm grateful to them. But that has ended up bringing good name to me and also good name to family. As Swami says, it is sacrifice which gives you a good name at the end of the day. And another so-called sacrifice I will share. It's a very interesting story. In 1993, I was posted in Bangalore in something called Trust Circle. I was Assistant Commissioner of Income Tax, Trust Circle. And I was heading the income tax division of both the states, Karnataka and Goa, for the trust. There are 16,000 trusts. It so happened, I was not aware that all Swami's trusts were there, Central Trust and Books and Publication, Hospital, etc., etc. And I had a wonderful opportunity because Swami used to send people like K.R. Prasad, K.R. Prasadji, Gangadhar Shetty, all these stalwarts. They used to come and say, Swami has told this pending, Swami has told me to meet you. He used to say, it was a big honor for me. Then anyway, so that was very inspiring. Then I realized how much good work Swami's trusts were doing selflessly, because we hear that they're doing good work, but only when you see their accounts and you see their activities, you realize how selfless this organization is. I had the occasion to go deep into their accounts, not 1 rupee misuse. I'm not exaggerating, not 1 paisa misuse. There is one organization which worked completely for humanity. It's a phenomenally, I mean, it was an eye-opener for me. And totally selfless. And Swami used to sign things, and he never used to allow 1 rupee to be wasted. And in college time, wherever Swami, whenever he used to call us for interview or wherever, when we had the occasion to go where he's sitting, when he gets up, he used to switch off the lights himself. He would switch off the fan himself. Even the thing like tap water, he would not allow any water to be wasted. He will not allow 1 rupee to be wasted. That is how he ran the organizations. That's how today a remote place like Puttaparthi is a world spiritual center. Because in a human way also, Swami set an example to everyone. So there I continued in the trust circle. So 1 year was over. Since no one stays in exemption in income tax for long, because it's not considered in quotes important posting. But I wanted to stay 2nd year, so I continued. 3rd year, Lakshmi Narayana ji, who was a venerable Lakshmi Narayana Garu, he was that time Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, now he's settled in Puttaparthi, a very honest and good person. So he posted me in investigation wing. Then promptly I went to him. I said, sir, I don't want to join. So he said, why? I didn't want to tell, sir, I want to continue serving in, trust circle and have the opportunity to serve Swami's trust also. I didn't want to tell him. Same. I said, no, sir, I would like to continue. Then he gave a long lecture to me. It's the most important, people don't get this posting. It is not, it's given to you. It's an honor. All that he said. After all that, he said, now you join. I said, sir, I don't want to join. After 30 minutes, he got angry. He said, okay, you can go. Then he canceled my posting. So I continued there for 4.5 years. I continued. Then I moved to Delhi for various postings. Recently, I was discussing with my wife. In those 4.5 years, I got a lot of good name. We collected a lot of taxes also. At the same time, we did a lot of good work. We never used to keep any file pending. We never used to harass anybody. So afterwards, I was telling my wife, I was, PS to not one 4 different union ministers: agriculture, rural development, urban development, civil aviation. PS to even one minister is a big achievement. But being PS to 4 central ministers, then I was heading the Andhra Pradesh Economic Development Board. That was a huge. And throughout, I got best posting. In none of these postings, I ever lobbied for any posting and never asked for any posting. I was always picked up and asked to take up even in the Economic Development Board, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu called me, he said, you have to take. I was hesitating. He literally forced me to join, and we had a wonderful tenure. Now, why I was telling my wife, in those 4 years, I thought I sacrificed something. I never sacrificed anything. But Swami gave me so much in return. He gave me a glorious career ahead. That is how Swami is. If he takes 1 rupee from you, he'll return you 1 lakh rupees. That is how he is. In fact, once some students were wanting to give 5 robes to Swami of 5 different colors. Same day, Swami gave 600 robes to all students. Every student he gave 1 robe. They tried to give 5 robes, 100 times he returned to them. That is how Swami is. So, in fact, throughout, I always felt his, his blessing throughout my career. Now I know I'm running short of time. I'll just take another 5-7 minutes before I conclude. Then I would welcome you to answer the questions. Answer any questions which are in your mind. And one of the things which Swami always taught us, Swami taught us in the college, which helped me in civil service, is to think of welfare of the people all the time, to have very broad mind, broad outlook. This kind of attitude led to, which helped me a lot in the service. Also, it helped me contribute towards policies of the government in a big way. For example, in 1987, there was huge problem as far as India was concerned. There was economy was in a totally bad shape, and there was deflation. Virtually 2-3% was inflation. It's not good for the country when you have very low inflation. That means nothing is happening also. At that point of time, I was in Delhi with my father for a month. Then I sat with father. Then we wrote one article called National Development through Development of National Highways. We talked about the 6-lane highways connecting all the cities in through National Highway Network. Then how this will develop rural development. This will improve agriculture. This will galvanize the economy. This will give work to the contractors, to the cement manufacturers, steel manufacturers, how we can turn around the economy. Then that particular article, I gave it to Mr. Gurumurthy. He's a famous chartered accountant. I gave to a number of people, including Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, Mr. Venkaya Naidu, and so many others had given it at that point of time. Then finally, I gave it to Mr. S. Gurumurthy, who was very close to Mr. Vajpayee. He's a chartered accountant, is heading Swadeshi Jagran Manch. He's from Chennai. Then he liked the article like anything. He took the article. He went and gave it to Mr. Vajpayee. Then he told me that, in fact, PS to PM told me, he was from IRS, Mr. Anand Rajan, that PM read the article twice. And finally, that article, they did not quote the names, but they put it virtually on the website, and they ended up developing the national highways. So this is again what I would say it is nothing but Swami's inspiration again. After writing the article, then after the whole thing was announced, I quietly prayed to Swami and thanked him that this came into reality. I had a dream that night, and Swami came, blessed me. He gave me a lot of sweets, chocolates, and everything. Beautiful blessing. That's acknowledgement that good work done. I'm acknowledging it like this. And another one, we have done a book on. Me and my father wrote a book called Towards an Urban Revolution. I'll share all this. In fact, on the highways, it's written in my annual performance report by various people at that point of time. It's already on the official record they've written. On national flag, taking national flag to every single home. Way back in 2002, we wrote this letter. I drafted the letter. Father wrote to Mr. Vajpayee, acknowledged it. Same thing what is announced today. Exactly same thing we had put in 2002 itself. Mr. Vajpayee was there. Then there's one photo you find along with me, Mr. Narendra Modi and all, some time back you've seen. On that occasion, I had given him an article. It's a part of that book, Towards an Urban Revolution. The article is titled National Campaign for Cleanliness. Believe me, within 2 days or 3 days, they announced the Swachh Bharat. And it's more or less bordering on that particular article, which is there in that book. I'll share there's a WhatsApp group. I can share all these details with you. On the SpiceJet Vizag Airport, also a lot of things we did. The Vizag Airport was totally destroyed after who did. And within a matter of 5 days, I used to be PS to Civil Aviation Minister that time. I was given a free hand by the minister. Within 5 days, we restored the operations. It's an entire history by itself. Like this, there are so many achievements throughout the career, which all these were possible only because what you talked about the 5Ds earlier and all the other principles, what I have just mentioned. So definitely speaking, I can say with a lot of confidence that being a student of Swami has really helped me in my career and in my own way, in my own humble way, whatever little I could do for the welfare of the country, I could do with Swami's blessings. These are the few things I wanted to share, and time constraint being there, I would close right now here. And I would thank Gopi Garu again and all of you for bearing with me patiently and listening to these few words. And my humble pranams and my heartfelt gratitude to our beloved mother and father, Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Thank you very much. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, thank you so much for the wonderful session, sir, with beautiful experiences. With your permission, we may now open the floor for Q&A session. Brothers and sisters, if you have any questions, you may raise your hand or you may drop your question on the chat box.
Sai Ram, what we'll do is, Priya, till the time that our students think about the questions, they must be ruminating, what Brother Sri Kishore has just told them. You remember last satsang that I did? I was mentioning to you about my experience about 2 Vibhuti packets that were given and to be handed out to somebody in Hyderabad. It was Krishna Kishore's father, Justice Ishwar Prasad. So I'm relating to the students. I was narrating an experience that I had with Swami when, Swami ordered me to take 2 Vibhuti packets to your father, and I had to bring it from Puttaparthi to Hyderabad. So I was telling them how Swami told me basically that when I went back and told him that I did the job, and I told him that Swami, this is my fortune of my previous birth. Swami said, Kadu Kadu, Vandaladi, 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 Janmala Sukhino. So I think the credit goes to you, sir, and your father for getting me that opportunity of having that interaction with Swami. And I do not know how many of you in this group know, but the family has been so close to Swami. In fact, when he was narrating his experience of his grandmother being with Swami, imagine 1940s, hardly a few hundreds, who would know Swami at all. I'm talking of knowing Swami basically, not getting to Swami, but only hundreds who know Swami. And they had that unique opportunity of being with Swami, and that's a great thing. And I have known about Mr. Krishna Kishoer. My elder brother is Sridhar Pirtala, who was your colleague in the department, who retired recently. And I've heard so many good things about you. How you're
one of the most honest and finest officers in the department. Your brother.
Sai Ram. So Sridhar keeps telling me about you and your accomplishments. It's so nice to catch up great. Last year, we also had this session for aspirants of civil servants, which we are going to do again, maybe in the month of October. And last year, we had the privilege of inviting Brother Krishna Kishoer to come and speak on that occasion. We're going to have another session, most probably end of October. And we'll be very happy if you can come back and address the aspirants of civil servants. These are the things that they would like to hear, how they could contribute to the country. And as a citizen with integrity is something very important, and that is important for all of us. So that's about it, sir. And thank you so much. And Nimish bhai wanted to join this session, but he was stuck in the traffic. He said, Gopi, as soon as I get home, I'll join. But I think he may get delayed. That's how it is.
I was discussing about your father's beautiful experience on the night as collector. Can you please tell if
I told them all these children. Last satsang was mine. I told them about it.
Wonderful experience, a very terrific experience. Really.
In fact, there were multiple experiences. Even the Paramacharya, the Kanchikara, Jayendra, not Jayendra Saraswati. I'm talking of
Chandrasekhar
Saraswati. Oh, as the collector of Chittoor, he had a wonderful experience with them, and Swami related that also to my father. Maybe some other occasion I will do that. He himself said this, Swami is Shiva Siddhi Swarupa. That is how it is, So we're all blessed. That is how I would say that being in the immediate presence of Swami. And this is a great opportunity for all of us, basically, that we have such eminent Sai associates, I would say Sai Sevaks, who are joining us on the Satsang program. This is the third batch Krishna Kishoer Garu that we are having today. We have about close to 240 students here across a very heterogeneous group. We have doctors, dentists, engineers, software engineers, business people. It's a very heterogeneous across the 26 states of India. That's how it is, very alike. Sometimes it's very difficult to talk to these youngsters also because they are at least one step ahead than us is the next generation, I would say, or the next generation. That's how it is. But Swami's grace that they're all here with us, and he's the doer. And as you very well said, that he leads us into the path of what we have to go. Any questions that are coming up?
Yes, sir. We have one participant from Odisha, Brother Sai Krishna. You can unmute yourself and you can turn on your video and go ahead with your question, brother.
Sister, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, Sai.
Sai Ram. Sir, a beautiful session and very interesting for the session to hear your voice. Sir, my question is, the same situation created with me in last 2017. I was a graphic designer in a company, and suddenly I have to come back to my hometown. So I came back for my mother because she is so ill and we have to look after my family. Today, I feel that after your listening from you, as you have turned your point from the study of doctors to commerce, I have changed from a job holder to a businessman. And today I feel that it would be good, it would be enough profitable for me if I have a job holder. So my feeling is good or bad, sir?
See, you can, if you have decided to become an entrepreneur, it's good, but it requires a lot of patience. because you overnight do not become rich or very well off. It's a struggle. You have to be very, very careful. Every rupee, every paisa, you have to be careful. And you have to do business which actually makes you earn money. Otherwise, doing business for the sake of doing business would not be good. So if, as I understand, you are having a job, then you went to the business, now you've gone back to the job. Am I right?
Ulta.
Yeah.
I think he was working and he came into business.
Yes. So if you are in business, please continue carefully. There are a number of Swami's devotees who have done well in business. But it requires a lot of patience. It requires tremendous amount of patience, which you'll anyway have as Swami's devotee, and a lot of determination. And I'm sure you'll succeed, but you have to be patient. Allow the success to come gradually. It will definitely come. But you have to be careful. Like money is a very slippery thing. You have to hold on to it. You have to invest wisely. You have to ensure not like Swami, one drop of water he never allows to waste. Like that, you also cannot allow your 1 rupee to be wasted. You have to not only invest carefully, but you also have to ensure there is no wastage. Then definitely you'll do well. But have the faith in Swami. He will take care. That is my experience. That's the experience of many of the old students and also devotees.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sai Krishna, I'll connect with you. I remember that I am due to speak to you also on this topic. Maybe we'll connect tomorrow morning on this.
Thank you, brother.
Sure,
Thank
sir.
you. So next we have Sister Aditi from Chennai Metro. Sister, please unmute yourself and turn on the video.
Sai Ram sir, it was a very inspiring session. Thank you so much. I believe Swami, I believe all of us are Swami's army, and he plants all of us at the right place to get the right works done. He knows it's all his game, I believe. Actually, I'm not sure if I can ask this question, but sir, you usually told us that in IRS usually we make sure that level best that they don't harass the taxpayers as far as possible, but it's a personal experience. So yeah, they have been harassing a lot, and and more of the common people as such in my case. So under such situations, how do we actually deal with it?
In fact, definitely yes. It's IRS. There are people who have been harassing the taxpayers. It is not a hidden secret. And in fact, government also brought about this faceless assessment scheme with a view to cut down corruption, with a view to cut down harassment, which is a good scheme, which recently they have brought into picture. But sometimes the harassment happens because we also don't explain clearly, or we make some mistakes. So we also have to see whether there's any mistake we have done, and which is resulting in this kind of harassment. For example, if you have to file certain, you have to pay advance tax in time, otherwise they'll charge interest. Similarly, if there are certain details which the department calls and you do not send the reply in time, or you do not send the information called for, and reply to their emails, etc., it results in raising a demand. So you have to see whether there's any mistake on your side also. But then what I would suggest, Brother Gopi sir has my number. You feel free to let me know the problem. I'll see what I can do to solve it. But yes, in fact, issues like, departments like income tax or police or customs enforcement, they have a lot of powers. So we have to very carefully, judiciously use. Many people tend to go overboard. In fact, yesterday I was talking to my additional director investigation. I said, see, the taxpayer, it's his fate is sitting on the other side and we are sitting on this side. They're also human beings like us. So be kind and good to them. Don't harass them, or you have a power to do a lot of damage, don't do it. Your job is to collect taxes, leave it there, that's all. Your job is not to harass the man or put him in predicament. You must, if they grow well, if they grow stronger, they pay more taxes, country benefits. We are not here to destroy taxpayers, we are here to collect taxes. So my additional director also agreed with me. He said, sir, we'll definitely work. I said, please remember, work with kindness and compassion. There is that there is no compromise on this. If you work under me, you have to keep this in mind. This is what Swami has taught us, help ever, hurt never. I think this is, it is something which all of us have to follow. But feel
Yes,
free
sir.
to share
Thank
your
you.
problem so that there's a solution I can offer, I'll try to do it.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sister. So there is one question in the chat box from brother Tapas from Odisha. Sai Ram, what if no miracles are not happening with me? Does my faith not that level or something else?
Well, one thing is what Swami has told very clearly. See, you can pray with your lip, with your mind, with your heart, but you have to pray with your heart. Very sincerely you have to pray, miracles happen. And you think they won't happen, they will happen. You have to be patient. You have to be, like in my own case, see, being honest has its own problems. A lot of challenges you find. You will find all kinds of people, they'll give trouble also, but you have to withstand and fight. We cannot just fall down and say we give up. No, you will win. I won. In my case, I won. When I had problem, I fought, I won. Because I knew my conscience is very clear. So like that, every person has his own types of challenges. There are times in life when you will face a lot of stress. But you have to have faith in yourself, faith in God, you will come out successful. In fact, please, so God will never let you down. Please keep in mind, whole creation can disown you, but Swami will never disown you. He will never give you up. I'm telling, that is my personal experience. Entire creation can fight against you. One Swami will stand by you and ensure that you become successful. So please have that deep faith, deep confidence. You will definitely come out. Everyone has good and bad times. That is a normal rule of life. So we are in good time, bad time, both times, we should have our faith intact in Swami. Keep praying more strongly. You will definitely make it. Yes.
Another important thing is that how do we know that our life, present day life, is not a miracle? That's an important thing. Miracles sometimes happen behind our back and we're not aware about it also. Your very existence, your very living conditions, your life today is itself the biggest miracle. Having come to Swami and knowing Swami itself is the biggest miracle. How can you say that we never had a miracle in your life? What more, yeah? 750 crores of people and you're one of those who have seen God. That's the greatest miracle that has happened in your life. You've seen him move. You have seen him, people touched him, talked to him, he talked to you. That's all a miracle in life. So don't think that, miracles happen to only few people and few people don't get miracles. We are all under the miracle hand of Bhagavan Jesus.
Just be patient, it will happen.
Yeah. Yeah, Venkatraman?
Yes, brother, you can go ahead with your question.
Okay. I say this with no exaggeration at all. This is one of the finest sessions in the National Leadership Program. And thank you so much, sir, for making your time. And it was so good listening to you. So I just have one little thought, that just crossed my mind. How do you handle conflict of interests? Okay, two different people, you are supposed to work with them in silos, but then how do you retain that respect and without hurting someone's ego? How do you handle that, conflict of interest?
First and foremost, what is the right thing to do in a particular case? That we should not compromise. So your conscience will tell you this is the right. X will ask for this by you, but what is it? One of them you will have to deny.
Right.
There is a beautiful message Swami said. Swami Vivekananda also said. Our Swami said number of times. You can always, you may not always oblige, but you can always speak obligingly. You have to know to say how to say no.
Right.
In such a polite, nice way, you have to put yourself in their shoe go down to their level and explain to them why you cannot do this. Because ultimately you have to take decision which is right. Many times you have to say no to one side, or you have to say there is no alternative. But there's a way you say. You can be very curt, you can be very dominating, you can be very egoistic, or you can be humble, you can be brotherly, or that Swami with love you can tell. Then they will understand. Swami always, there's no weapon more powerful than love. I'll tell you, today is 9/11. Okay, when world was sought to be destroyed. So we are living in that kind of world. And so Sai Avatar has come to stop this kind of deluge. In fact, all the three avatars, if you see, in fact, maybe they have come at the most opportune time of history. Otherwise, today we are capable of wiping out ourselves as a race through nuclear attacks. But the underlying current of love, righteousness, goodness, these are the things which will save humanity. And these are the values Swami has been fostering. So you have to talk with love. Even the person whom you don't like, even the person whom we have to say no, speak with love, they'll understand and come to your side.
Absolutely. Beautiful setup. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Venkatraman, I would like to say something here right now at this moment. The exact question that you asked was a similar question that I asked Swami about 15 years back in the interview room. And the exact answer that I got from Swami was what Mr. Krishna Kishoer just said. Swami said, sit down, talk to them with love, explain to them the pros and cons, don't show your power, don't show your arrogance, and things will work out. People will listen. Exactly the same words. I think you're right on thought, Krishna Kishoer. Swami is speaking through you. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, sir. We have one question in the chat box. So this question is from Sister Preeti from Karnataka. How can we be strict and polite at the same time?
See Swami. See Swami. Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
The one is, if you are not strict, you cannot enforce discipline. You cannot run the organization smoothly. Strict doesn't mean like we have to be like Hitler. See, strict should be tempered with love, kindness, compassion, goodness. Then only you'll be able to achieve the results. Like, for example, I find a particular employee not, dressed properly. So I don't hesitate to tell him, your dress is not becoming of the role what you're doing. I'll on his face, I will tell him, I'll criticize him. At the same time, I'll pat his back and say that you're hardworking, keep up the good work. So where I have to criticize, I will criticize. But at the same time, I'll also praise where the praise is due. So the person understands that we are objective in what we are doing. We do not have any personal prejudice. What we are trying to do is to improve. So you have to create that affinity with the person. So the person feels, yes, he is doing it for my good. Make him understand that this particular action, what is being done, is trying to improve me, is not trying to harm. At the same time, no person is perfectly good, no person is perfectly bad. Everyone has traits of both. So where they are good, go and praise them, lavishly praise them, pat their back and say, this wonderful work you've done, so that they'll understand. So we need to temper like this, strictness and politeness. Then only will be successful. Either of the extremes will be bad. If you're too polite, people will take you for granted. If you're too strict, people will try to avoid you totally. So you have to have a balance. Gopi Garu, would you like to say something on this?
Nothing, sir. Absolutely right on dot. A standing example is Swami. The way he handles, students, devotees, people like us. He's like a father. When he beats you, and like a mother when he actually cajoles you. That's how it is. Standing example. Great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Priya, anything?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, Preeti Pattanashetty. You want any question, Preeti?
No, uncle, you answered my question. And thank you, Krishna, sir. Thank you, Gopi uncle.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, sir. We have question from Satyam Sharma. How was your experience as a deputy director at Central Economic Intelligence Bureau?
See, Central Economic Intelligence Bureau is in Delhi. It was actually, on paper, it is the most powerful organization in India, because you have powers of the income tax, customs, enforcement directorate, everything in that organization. But in reality, they could not operationalize it. So it was more like intelligence missionary rather than enforcement missionary. So at that point of time, I was there for 1 year. We did number of big cases, some very good cases. There was a multi-level marketing, then Bank of Rajasthan. There are a number of big cases we have done. A lot of inquiry we did. We had a good tenure, but at the same time, on paper, that's an organization which is extremely powerful, but in reality, not so. They have not really empowered, maybe good of the country. I don't think any organization should have that kind of power where you put every kind of enforcement powers in one organization. But at the same time, it's doing a lot of good. It collects a lot of data across the country of different activities of economic offenses, etc., and passes on to the relevant departments and does an activity of coordination so that there could be the information would be gainfully used by different departments.
Yeah, Priya, any more
Thank
questions?
you, sir. Yeah, we have one more question in the chat box. This is from sister from Punjab. As you mentioned during the session that you write letters to Swami for the questions that may raise in your mind, and Swami always help or answer you. Now I am in a situation that I want to ask something from him, but I'm not ready for the answer. What if he says yes to the option that I don't want? I am in a vague situation and really don't know what is good for me.
See, Swami, when he was in physical frame also, people used to write letter and you, he never needed letter because he knew what you are asking. It was to keep you happy. He used to take the letter, pretend as if he's reading, though he knew everything what you wrote. So what Swami said was, if you have anything in your mind, you can want to write letter, put it in, and it's a way of expressing ourselves and connecting to Swami. And Swami takes care. Swami knows what is for our good. Many times, you think we are the doers, we are not the doers. We only pretend to act. It is Swami who does. So many times we have to leave it to his judgment. In fact, one of the prayers I remember, Swami said is, you have any issue, you just go to him and say, I surrender to you. Swami, this is the problem I am having. Think of it. Whatever you do is good for me. That's it. Then what Swami says, I will take over the responsibility. You are leaving responsibility to me. I'll ensure what has to be done will be done. That's all.
Great.
Many times you have to surrender and leave it to him. That's it. He said, you think of it and then I will take care of it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
In fact, I'll use the word also. I'll explain in Telugu. I'll request Gopi Garu to translate it in English. Swami said, the prayer he said everyone should pray. Devuda, మీ ప్రేమని మాపై పంపించండి. ఏ నిమిషం ఏం అవసరమో ఆ అవసరము మీరు తీర్చండి. అంతా మీకు సమర్పిస్తున్నాను. Thou think of everything. That's it. Surrender.
Absolutely. So just whatever you have the troubles in your life or whatever it is, just offer it at my lotus feet and I am there to take care of it. Surrender to me and I am there with you always. So there's a beautiful poem that I would like, with your permission, Kishore Garu, maybe, Swami sings this. Adabulayandunnna akashamanunna Adabulayandunnna akashamanunna Pattanamulanunna పల్లెనున్నా గుట్ట మీదనున్నా నట్టేట నడుమనున్నా విడుబడు నిన్ను ఈ సాయి భక్తులారా, విడుబడు నిన్ను ఈ సాయి భక్తులారా. Swami says, if you're in the forests or the jungles, or you're high up on the mountains, you may be in the remotest village, or you may be in the center of a city. You may be in the middle of an ocean, or you may be in any place. Be sure that I will never leave you. I am always there with you. This is the greatest thing that Swami is. Nobody in the world can say this actually. And we're all here. We have all seen it personally ourselves, that Swami is always with us. The only thing is that, like I told you in my last satsang, tune yourself to Swami. The tuning is very important. If you don't tune yourself, the waves will never come to you. That's how it is. Over to you, Sai Priya.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, brothers and sisters, if you have any more questions, the WhatsApp group will be open for submitting your questions, and we may consolidate all the questions and pass it on to the speaker. So, thank you so much. I request Sister Archana to take over.
Sai Ram sister, thank you. Sai Ram uncle, I'm sure all the brothers and sisters over here would really love to hear more from you. It was really a soulful session. We really had a bucket full of lessons to be practiced in our daily lives. Thank you so very much, sir. And I would like to thank you, our loving convener uncle. Hearing that Padyam, we felt like hearing from Swami again. Thank you for that. Also, I thank all the brothers and sisters for hearing these sessions. And I really thank the media team for the beautiful AV. We'll close the session with Shanti Mantram. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु, समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु, समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु. ॐ